Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Nosferatu, your friendly neighborhood Mexican film critic. Hope you guys did enjoy my Odyssey review. I think it's a little slow to start, but it seems to be picking up a little bit of pace now. But I did put a whole lot of work into that. But like I said, I wanted to kind of put some videos in between of me talking about Marvel, since we have a lot to cover. So, this week I'm finally going through phase 2, so this is going to be my Marvel movie ranking best to worst phase 2. Let's get into it.
Here we go again. Oh, shit.
Alright, so phase 2, I think we are now in the experimental phase where phase 1, like I said, I called it the humbling, but that was laying the groundwork. Phase 2 is when we start to get to experiment. We get introduced to some new heroes, we expand the universe a bit, go into space, explore some consequences, and we lay the groundwork for Infinity War. And even though phase 3 is probably going to be the longest one since there's more movies in that. But just like last time, we're going to go through these movies in order, well, phase order, not timeline order. That's ridiculous. Some pros, cons, the importance of them. I got my notes again. Like I said, I've been trying to take a lot more notes just so I can have more cohesive videos. That way I'm not just ranting, though most of my videos are me ranting because I need to talk and I don't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we know.
Regardless, let's start with the first movie in phase 2, which is Tony Stark the movie. Actually, it's just Iron Man 3, but it might as well be called Tony Stark the movie. Is it a bad movie? No. Like I said, out of 5 stars, the normal consensus for this is 3 out of 5 stars, which I get. It's a good movie. It has its moments. Iron Man 3, it does have some great scenes in there. I just don't know if it's like it's definitely not the best Iron Man movie. I don't even think it's the best movie in phase 2 at all. But it does, like I said, it does have great performances in it. It does kind of explore the PTSD side from the Avengers movie, where we kind of see, Tony Stark dealing with like panic attacks and stuff. He's in like the middle of a restaurant thinking something's happening to his heart and jumps in his suit like, no, you're just having an anxiety attack. I said, and some of the action is really good. I just think it was, like I said, there is one scene in there that I think is super impressive, and that's when all those people fall out of the airplane and he has to save them all, and just how they filmed that with like actual skydivers just kind of free diving, and then like they all link up, like incredible scene. I do think some of the flaws with it are very noticeable. For starters, the Mandarin twist, completely stupid. I don't read the comics. So I don't know if he's supposed to just be this bumbling idiot actor playing the Mandarin, but regardless, they set up this whole terrorism thing and we just get some glowy people. So I do think the twist was stupid. I really wanted more Iron Man in it. We kind of get Iron Man at the end. He does end up, kind of resetting everything, trying to distance himself from Iron Man. So like I said, there is a lot of personal growth in there. We do have to see Tony Stark not be Iron Man and still try to do heroic stuff. So like I said, I don't hate the movie at all. It was still a fun watch, but I'd much rather just watch Iron Man 1, maybe even 2 or 3, but regardless, 3 out of 5 stars, I kind of understand. But like I said, the importance of it does show Tony's struggle, and like I said, him trying to move on from Iron Man, which will lead into the rest of the Avengers movies.
Iron Man sucks.
And for the second movie, this is going to be Thor: The Dark World. I did not remember I ever watched this movie. I didn't even know it came out when it came out. Like I said, I just kind of, after the first Thor, I was like, well, that sucked. And then I cherry pick a lot of my Marvel movies growing up as they came out. So I just didn't care for it. I didn't remember if I watched it or not. This has an average of 2 out of 5 stars. It was fine. I will say it was fine. One thing I will give it credit for is it didn't all take place on Earth. I live on Earth. I'm tired of seeing Earth. Take me away from Earth. Show me Asgard. Show me the Dark World. Show me this other place. But like I said, it does still have some pros to it as well. It expands Asgard. Loki was great. The relationship between Thor and Loki, you know, you kind of see them bond, and him still being a little fucking bastard. I will say the ending fight, actually super fun, man. It's such a fun fight, kind of. I mean, the villain's a bit lame. What's his name? Malekith? Malekith, kind of lame villains. But whenever they keep teleporting as they're fighting and he's trying to land hits or throw his hammer and then they teleport, then the hammer has to go elsewhere, and then they teleport back and the hammer tries to keep going back to him, and it's this whole... I will say that was a very exciting fight. I thought it was kind of awesome how they pulled all that off. Like I said, it's kind of a generic story. It had some cool ideas, you know, with like Jane Foster, you know, Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings, and then finding like the weird little gravity thing. Kind of reminds me of like the Animatrix little short. So yeah, some cool concepts, but it was still kind of a meh movie. I will say the importance of it. It does introduce the Reality Stone. So we do get that. We get Loki's fake death, and it also kind of sets up Ragnarok and Infinity a war bit. And we all know Ragnarok's the best Thor movie. Just admit it. Just admit it. But regardless, Thor: The Dark World, I thought it was fine. Nothing to really write home about for me personally, but it still had its moments. I wasn't completely bored during it, and that's good. And like I said, it did take me away from Earth a lot, which is fine. Show me shit I haven't seen. I'm sick of looking at goddamn New York blowing up all the time. It's always New York. Why is it always New York? Go blow up freaking the Space Needle or something. I don't know. Fuck. I love you, New York! And then for the next movie, regarded as one of the best in the MCU, and I will somewhat agree with this as well, and that is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 5 out of 5 stars. And I do agree with this. This was one movie when it came out and I watched it. Like I said, I used to not give a shit about most of these. So I was like, okay, another Captain America movie, cool, Bucky's in there, whatever, don't care about him. Hey, Black Panther, that's kind of cool. But no, the rewatch of Captain America: The Winter Soldier was incredible. The pacing was great, the action was strong, the solid story. It's got real emotional stakes as well. You see S.H.I.E.L.D. getting taken over by Hydra, and it's like this huge espionage type.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
Like I said, even outside of the MCU, if there was just Winter Soldier the movie, it's a great fucking movie, dude. It's just super fucking solid. I will say kind of the ending does turn into one more, kind of more of like a typical superhero finale. But that's, like I said, that's such a small little nitpick on it for such a solid movie. Like, one of my favorite fucking scenes, man, and it's just so cool. When, like, Bucky's there, and Captain America's chasing him, and freaking Black Panther's chasing him. They're running down the fucking freeway, going faster than the cars, and, like, that whole scene is badass. There's, like, motorcycles and shit, like, stopping, like... most highway fight scenes are badass, just like in The Matrix Reloaded, dude. That whole scene's badass. But yeah, Captain America: Winter Soldier, super awesome. The importance of that movie is it shows the collapse of S.H.I.E.L.D. by Hydra. It's got Bucky returning, and it kind of changes the political landscape of the MCU. But very important film. Like I said, absolutely solid. I agree with the 5 out of 5, 110%. And then we get such a breath of fresh air for the MCU, and that's Guardians of the Galaxy. Once again, 5 out of 5 stars. Soundtrack's great. It's refreshing, visually stunning, super colorful. It's hilarious. Absolutely one of the funniest movies without really kind of overdoing it, because Marvel does kind of start overdoing it with the comedy trumping everything else. But the cast is great. I will say, like, Drax might be like one of my favorites out of the Guardians, man. One of my favorites. It caught me so off guard since I haven't watched it in years, but at the end when they're like walking up and Drax is like,
I want you all to know that I'm grateful for your acceptance after my blunders. It is pleasing to once again have friends. You, Quill, are my friend.
Thanks.
This dump tree, he is my friend. And this green whore, she...
Oh, you must stop!
Dude, I died so hard from that, dude. That shit's so fucking funny, man. Some of the cons I have read about it is people saying Ronin is a bit generic and that the humor undercuts a lot of the emotional moments, which it does have those moments where it's like we're just sitting in this emotional state and then a joke comes in, which I get it. It kind of adds some levity. Even though Ronin, yeah, he's just generic bad guy, like, I kind of felt we needed that. We needed someone that was just evil for the sake of being evil. Plus, I love his design, man. Once he has the black makeup on, just fucking dope, man. Honestly, just a great movie. You could just watch it anytime. It's beautiful to look at. Because most movies, and I hate to point it out because I always notice it, the majority of the color tones for movies is yellow and blue. Yellow and blue. You're going to see it everywhere. I'm sorry if I break this to you, but you will start noticing most movies are a blue tone, yellow tone, blue and yellow, blue and yellow. I'm fucking sick of it. It's boring to look at.
Tell me how you really feel.
What does Guardians do? Here's greens, purples, oranges, reds. Like, we're going to throw every spectacle, every color at you. It's like Suspiria from the 70s, man. A ballerina movie about witches. Technicolor, man. Total rainbow collapse. Total rainbows, man.
Ooh, pretty!
Give me shit I enjoy looking at, man. Make it fucking visually beautiful for me. Makes me want to keep watching the movie when I'm not just bored seeing gray tones a whole bunch. And the importance of Guardians as well. We do have, it introduces the Guardians, it introduces the Power Stone, and it also starts expanding the MCU into the cosmos. And it also does kind of show a little more of Thanos as the threat he actually is. Because like I said, I don't read the comics. Whenever they did the Thanos reveal at the end of whatever, you know, I'm not going to act like I know who that is. I had to go to YouTube and watch New Rockstars do their fucking 40-minute breakdown of it. So I'm like, okay, so he's the Mad Titan. Fair enough. Understandable. So like I said, I watched these clearly from a movie fan standpoint. I just thought it was great. Guardians of the Galaxy, up there in my top 10 Marvel movies for sure.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo, my wife and child are dead.
And then we get to somewhat of a controversial movie because people say it's bad when it's really not, but The Avengers Age of Ultron. The only reason I am sour on this movie is because when me, my wife, Dalton, and Connor went to the movies, it was like, yo, the new Avengers is out. But also, Mad Max Fury Road is out, and we were debating what are we going to go spend our money on, and I regret till this day that we did not go see Mad Max Fury Road, because that is a much better movie. That movie kicks ass. Age of Ultron, still a fun movie. My rewatch, I actually appreciated it a lot more. Like I said, it does have just the team together as the Avengers is great. There's some funny scenes, some intense scenes. The opening action scene in the woods is badass. I will say one of my favorite fucking scenes, it's at the party when they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer. And everyone's taking turns and, you know, Rhodey and them are putting on their Iron Man freaking wrist guards and trying to lift it. And no one can fucking do it until Captain America comes up. And you do see the little nudge in Thor's face immediately. It's like, nope, I guess no one can do it. No one's worthy. Ha ha ha. But that's just, like, that's some solid character building as, like, a team. Like I said, I think it works really well for it. You kind of see them more getting used to each other. The action there is super awesome. And even though Ultron is a bit underwhelming, as he should have been, James Spader did a great fucking job.
I was meant to be beautiful.
I know him more as Robert California from The Office. But, like, him, like, whenever he meets Jarvis and then he finally puts pieces together his broken body and busts through the wall and it's just like,
Kill the other guy. He was a good guy.
You just killed Jarvis. Like, that shit hurts more than when freaking Tom Holland got snapped away, man. Like, leave Jarvis alone, you meanie. But yeah, I will say Ultron's a little meh of a villain. I think the stakes, even though they were played high, they didn't seem as high. And we do get one of the most metal lines where it's like,
The only thing living in this world will be metal.
And when all of us in the theater just threw up our horns like, fuck yeah, it's metal as shit. So yeah, and it's a little bit crowded. So we do get introduced to like the Vision, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver. Although I will say with Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, I don't believe they're Russian accents at all. This is the only movie they have Russian accents, and it's just, yes, we are Russian. Oh, look at you, we are over here. Oh, ho, ho, vodka, vodka, vodka. And then they go away forever. No more Russian accents. We're not even gonna attempt. Like, I don't buy you as Russian at all. There's like I like
Today, Junior?
I like Scarlet Witch. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson. He was great as Quicksilver, but like he's not. They're essential to the movie, but they're not a big part of it. So like I said, just their Russian accents kind of like, okay, like I can tell you're just doing a Russian accent as opposed to you're Russian. I didn't buy it, not for 1 second. But we do get Hulk leaving Earth. It does kind of set up the Mind Stone being in the scepter, and it also kind of starts putting in the stepping stones for Civil War, which is in Phase 3. But regardless, I think Age of Ultron gets a kind of a crappy rep, especially compared to the other 3 Avenger movies. I still think it was awesome. It did get a 3.5 stars out of 5, which I can kind of agree. I would probably put it up to 4 just because I kind of enjoyed it a lot more. I still got to watch the Avengers do the Avenger stuff. And even the last battle, they're all circled and like super fun movie. We get the Hulkbuster scene. Man, the Hulkbuster fight scene is badass, dude. That shit had to happen. That was so dope. For the last movie in Phase 3, we are talking about Ant-Man. And this got an average rating of 3.5 stars out of 5. It's just refreshing. It's a refreshing movie. It's smaller stakes. Paul Rudd is absolutely great in it. I love Paul Rudd. So him being Ant-Man, like I knew I was going to laugh. I knew it was going to take itself somewhat serious, but not too seriously. Like I said, and it's just a funny-ass movie. Much like the Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like a fresher take. So every time he shrunk down, like those scenes are great, man. You got like I've also been playing Grounded a lot as well, so being little and stuck in a backyard, it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids type shit. So every time they're shrunken down, it's just such a fun time. And then we can all agree the best actual scene from the movie is when him and Yellow Jacket are fighting on the toy train set, and the train's coming, no! Dink! Just falls over. It's so fucking funny, dude. It's just a great movie. I will say Yellow Jacket's a bit basic. It kind of reminds me of Jeff Bezos. And I haven't got to fucking Quantumania yet. That's going to be for another phase. Another con is it's somewhat like a predictable origin story, It's you kind of see where it's going. You kind of understand how it's going to end. And it's still, like I said, Ant-Man is just fucking great. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars instead of 3.5. The importance of that as well, it does give us Scott Lang, Hank Pym, kind of hints and introduces the quantum realm a bit, which is we're going to need for the future. And it also kind of sets up how that's going to work in with Endgame. So out of these 6 movies as well, I will say some of the pros and cons of Phase 2. Some of the pros, it's got unique styles between movies. It is bigger world building. There are some better villains, and it does introduce a fuck ton more heroes that we need for Infinity War and Endgame. So it was very important to the MCU. Like I said, some of the cons between it is there's like an unevenness between the film. There's no bad movie here. And some of the villains are forgettable. So I will give you that as well. And like I said, some of them have kind of a tone shift. Some are a little more serious as compared to, like Ant-Man and Winter Soldier. Completely different tones. One's like, oh man, we're being taken over. Sneaky shit's happening. Ant-Man's like, sneaky shit's happening, but we're laughing about it. But regardless, those are very small nitpicks. I think Phase 2, as the experimental phase and trying new things, introducing new characters, I think it was absolutely wonderful. Super fun to do. And now for my rankings of Marvel Phase 2. So for my number 1 best of Phase 2, I was kind of juggling these. the general consensus I read on the internet is Winter Soldier, which I understand. It's a good fucking movie. It's just a good movie. I can't get around it. If you argue you just haven't watched it or you don't care like I did when I was younger. But since these are my own personal thoughts, I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy just because it was such a breath of fresh air. It was unique. It was colorful. It's something I haven't seen before. Espionage and Captain America with freaking Bucky, like you kind of seen Captain America, man. I've seen someone broke into, I've seen it all. I've never seen Guardians of the Galaxy. They were one of the Marvel teams that came out that people like me who don't read the comics are like, who the fuck are these people? And we all fell in love with them. I love all the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're awesome. So Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be my number one, simply because it was so different and visually appeasing. Like I said, it's colorful. It takes me away from Earth. Thank you, Guardians, for taking me away from my own fucking planet. I don't want to see my planet. I see enough of it and it sucks. So take me to nowhere where I get to go inside of a celestial's head where everyone lives now, because that shit's awesome. Funny movie, great movie. So my rank number one for Marvel Phase 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy. And my ranking number 2 is, if you couldn't tell from the last one, I'm going to put Winter Soldier here, which, like I said, is generically one of the best MCU movies. And I will say that, yeah, it's probably up in the top 5 of the entire MCU. It's just a good movie, standalone, by itself. So I give it the props where it needs to be. It's awesome. The action's great. It introduces, like Black Panther and stuff. Kind of get like some Wakanda references in there. You get Bucky back. The fight's great. Like I said, the chase, the highway fight scene is fucking incredible. So, like I said, I will put it on the top 2. It would have gone number 1. But if it was more colorful and took me out of the world, it would have won my number 1 spot. And for my third pick, kind of debating on this as well, I was going to put Ant-Man here just because it's kind of also a bit fresh. But, I think I'm going to lean more towards Age of Ultron. Just because, like I said, the amount of characters we get in there, it's still the Avengers. It is a fun movie. It's got, highs and lows, and it's still super epic, man. Ant-Man's epic, but it's, small epic. Like I said, stakes are low. We're breaking into houses and stuff. Age of Ultron, we get a huge team doing huge things, which I think will put it a level above Ant-Man for me. And like I said, most people aren't going to agree with that, but that's fine. These are my opinions. If you disagree, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did, and I'm slowly working towards it. So my number 3 pick is going to be Age of Ultron. My number 4, directly, Ant-Man. Absolutely super fun movie, breath of fresh air. Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, perfect casting, get to see everything turn small, and like I said, it's a whole new world once you're shrunken down this big. And like I said, and I love to laugh, and that movie has so much humor in it that's not overbearing or forcing itself. The humor in Ant-Man fits it, especially with Paul Rudd, and just his weird dry deliveries. I absolutely love it. Ant-Man was great, so that is going to be my number 4 spot. And then for my number 5, I think I might go with Iron Man 3. Just because the emotional stakes of Tony dealing with his PTSD after the attack on Manhattan or whatever in New York from the first Avengers. Like I said, he's not really Iron Man for the movie. He's Tony Stark most of the time. But there is a bit more emotional weight to it. Like I said, just him dealing with it, having panic attacks and freaking out, and he doesn't know what to do. He's usually on top of the game, so he's under the game here, kind of punching upwards. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with Iron Man 3 as my number 5, which is odd. You would think I would pick my number 6 one, which I'm going with Thor: The Dark World. Just because, like I said, I don't remember watching it the first time. I remember a little more the second time I watched it. So, and it is, I think it might be more important than Iron Man 2, or Iron Man 3. But like I said, Thor: The Dark World is kind of a forgettable film. And I don't say that with any hostility or anything. it's just like, I mean, we had a generic villain. The one thing it did do good was bring in the reality stone or whatever. And like I said, it had some cool moments. It's not a bad movie at all. You can still watch it and be entertained. But like I said, I think Iron Man 3 had just a little bit more heart and emotional weight to it. Out of my Marvel Phase 2 rankings, number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 2 is The Winter Soldier. 3 is Age of Ultron. We have Ant-Man, Iron Man 3, and then Thor: The Dark World. And like I said, these are just my rankings. I do a lot of Googling and stuff to get general consensus, but I'm not the general consensus. I have my own thoughts and stuff. So these were my personal rankings for these, and which ones I would like to rewatch more. So to wrap it up, my final summary of Marvel Phase 2. For a second phase of films in a massive franchise, Phase 2 tried a lot of new ideas, significantly expanded the MCU, introduced us to a ton of new characters, gave us some laughs along the way. Though there are a few films that aren't as strong as some others on this list, each one still had its importance to further the world building and lore for the future of the franchise, and gave us some of the strongest films in the MCU so far. That is at least until we get to Phase 3, which is the peak. So, if you have stayed here this long, I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw some, comments down in the comment section. And, share with your friends, whatever. I don't care. I love everyone here. So, peace out. I love you guys. And you guys have a blessed night.